Hi everybody, I'm here with a monthly favorites video for the month of April. I did try filming this last week, but for those of you who saw, I was trying to do like a sort through decks video with me and the sound wasn't working, so this is the second run at this. But anyway, let's see if this works. Okay, so we're talking about favorites for the month of April. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that we're all under various states of isolation and quarantine right now in the month of April of 2020. I've been self-isolating. We're not under as strict a lockdown as, some places in the world, but, all non-essential businesses are closed. Everyone that can work from home is working from home. We're told not to mix with other households, like all that kind of stuff's going on. So I haven't really left my house. And as you can see, my hair is becoming a bit of a situation, but whatever, it's a small thing and it's not the end of the world. I will get to see my hairdresser when I get to see my hairdresser. I did think about cutting my own bangs and I was like, no, Lou, it's just gonna go wrong. It's just gonna go wrong. So I'm just gonna leave this. We'll see what happens with my beautiful quarantine hair, and we'll see what happens until what it looks like by the time I go to see my lovely hairdresser. But let's get to the favorites of the month as we're in this quarantine. So first of all, I'm going to talk about my favorite deck, my favorite book, and then some of the other things I've been enjoying. So if you're just here for the woo-woo stuff, I'll do that first. So first of all, a deck that kind of surprised me this month is the Alice in Wonderland. Oh, that's better. Alice in Wonderland Oracle. So I got this because I got the Alice in Wonderland Tarot and I wanted this to kind of go along with it. And I kind of put it aside and I was worried that it might be a little bit kitschy or, just kind of like a bit of a gimmick, right? But it's totally not. This deck is perfect for this month. This month has been definitely like a through the looking glass experience. And this deck does not pull any punches. So it's Lucy Cavendish and Jasmine Beckett Griffith. And this is not like a sweet deck. This is definitely a deck that tells it like it is. And like I said, is perfect for this time. So it really delves into like some shadowy things. So right off the top here, I have all must have prizes, which if you've read Alice in Wonderland, you know what that's about. And it's about like trying to please everyone all the time, trying to be everything to everybody and make sure everyone's happy. There's a lot of art history references in this, which as an artist, I love. So it has stuff like, this one's got like sort of a Hieronymus Bosch type reference in it in the background. Let's find some other ones. I know they're in here. Oh, this one's got a Rococo, very, type vibe to it. And some of the things are just so appropriate. Like, I wonder what will happen next. Just sort of this feeling of uncertainty and trying to look at things as an adventure rather than uncertainness. It's definitely like cute, but a little creepy and weird. That's for sure. Oh, this one's got a Starry Night vibe to it. Definitely got the art history. We got some more Bosch going on here in the background. We got some Velasquez. There we go. So yeah, some of these, I'm trying to find, there was a couple that just like kept coming up that were so appropriate. Things like, you can't go back to yesterday, that things have changed and they're not going to be the same, and that you need to kind of go with that. Law is not justice. So again, we have a Van Eyck reference here, just, but law is not justice. That, we've seen all the inequalities and all the problems have come out. They were always there, but it just sort of shone a spotlight on them. Mortality. These are not sweet little cards here. They're definitely, this one came up so much in readings. It's always tea time. That's Groundhog Day sense of like things just repeating themselves over and over and days blurring together. So this deck has been, it's beautiful and it reads really well, and it's not fluffy, that's for sure. So this was a big surprise for me and a very pleasant one this month. One deck that I was not so pleasantly surprised with this month, and I'm going to do a follow-up video, was the Occult Tarot, which I did an unboxing with. I have some more things to say about it now that I've kind of really looked at the book and looked at the cards, but that's for another video. Let me know if you want me to do that. Favorite book this month was the one that we did in our coven, the Wild Witch Coven, which was the Crooked Path. I'm going to do a full review of this deck. But I really enjoyed this book. It was very educational. First of all, let's enjoy that beautiful cover. And also this has got like that velvety feel that I'm loving. I'm seeing on books more now. I know that's weird, but I do love that. This book was, it's not a huge book, but it was really informative about traditional witchcraft. I learned some things I didn't know. They talk a little bit about the history and some of the figures in it, and some of those people I didn't know a lot about. It talks about the methods of going through rituals, and there's certainly some things that I already kind of do in my personal practice anyway. Others where I'm like, that's not for me. But I found this really interesting, and they also put in like little tidbit stories from like traditional folklore and things, which was very, very interesting. So it was a really enjoyable read this month. Next month, we're going to be reading, if you want to join us in the coven, it's only like $10 Canadian, which is less than US dollars a month. And we have here The Psychic Witch, which I have not read yet, but I've heard really good things about. So we'll see if it's any good. What we do is we go through chapter by chapter each week, and then we do like a little live chat about it. And I like it because it's not too much. Like asking people sometimes to read a whole book in a month when you're busy isn't always doable, but we can read a chapter a week. That's totally doable. So that's our next book that we're doing. But Crooked Path, if you're interested in even just learning about traditional witchcraft, I would definitely recommend that book. As for like non-witchy things, what I've been kind of doing is I have been working from home. I listen to podcasts, because I do like office-y type work. And one podcast that I've been really enjoying is Hot and Bothered. Hot and Bothered is by one of the same hosts that does Harry Potter and the Sacred Text. So that's a really great podcast too. In the Harry Potter and Sacred Text, they go through the Harry Potter books chapter by chapter and treat it like a sacred book. So one of the hosts from there also has this other podcast called Hot and Bothered, which was about writing a romance novel. But for this season and for while we're all in quarantine, her and a friend are going chapter by chapter through the Twilight series. Now, I never had any interest in Twilight. It sounded super cheesy to me and just like, this totally isn't for me. I remember when the books came out, a bunch of my friends were crazy about it. And then the movies came out and they're like, you got to watch the movie. Just keep an open mind, which I did. I went into the movie thinking, it's going to keep an open mind. Let's see what the big fuss is. I had to switch it off halfway through. During the scene where Edward and Bella are running through the woods and he's sparkling, I couldn't take it anymore and I shut it off. And then people said to me, and I told people, I said, I tried, I really did, but it was awful. And they said, no, the books are better, which happens a lot, right? Like we've all read a wonderful book and then seen a really shitty adaptation in a movie, right? It happens. So whatever, I forgot about it. And then with this, they're going through it chapter by chapter. So I was like, I'm going to sit down and read this. I'm not all the way through yet. I've been going along with the podcast. It's terrible. I'm sorry. I just find it to be terrible. I don't see what's attractive about him at all. He's barely described, in fact. I don't know why he's so handsome, other than he's pale. Like, is that... I don't even know if is that a prerequisite for being handsome? Like your pigment level? Like not, obviously. And then ridiculous, right? And then Bella is like so self-centered and annoying. I don't know what he sees in her. Also, why is like a 100-year-old vampire still in high school? Like, come on, do something else with your life, right? The premise, the writing is terrible, everything. Okay, so you're like, Lou, why are you talking about this on your favorites? This podcast has made this so enjoyable. You know where something is like so bad it's good? They give advice to the writer. They give advice to the characters. It is hilarious. So it actually makes me like actually enjoy Twilight. So I will read the chapter. I'll listen to the podcast, and it's, you know what? please don't think I'm hating on Twilight because it's not for me. I don't like it. But if you love it, I think you'll still love this podcast because it's so funny and so just insightful about modern, romance and things like that. It's really wonderful. It makes you laugh. It makes you smile. And in these times, anything that makes us laugh and smile, I think is wonderful. So please, if you love Twilight, just keep loving Twilight. It's not for me, but you know what? This podcast has definitely made me appreciate it on a certain level. And also, I can at least say to people, yes, I've read the book and I do have an informed opinion about it now. So very enjoyable. As for TV, I don't have Netflix. Everyone's been watching Tiger King. I've never seen it. These people sound deplorable, but I have been enjoying ghost shows. It's really weird. We're living in a really scary time, but watching something that is like non-threateningly scary is like oddly comforting, if that makes sense. Because like I have friends who are watching things like Contagion and zombie movies, and I'm like, I can't take that. I can't take that. But with the ghost shows, I don't know why. I find it oddly comforting. I enjoy them, and it's a nice distraction from everything that's going on right now. So I've been watching things like Ghost Adventures and Dead Files. I really love Portals to Hell is my new favorite ghosty type show. It's got Jack Osborne, Ozzy Osbourne's son in it, Katrina Wildman, who was in Paranormal Lockdown, and she was also on Paranormal State, if anyone remembers that show. They're both amazing. Jack Osborne's actually like really sensitive to, sort of like ghosty things and stuff. So it's a very enjoyable show. I quite like it. And I think this week, like I'm recording this on the Saturday, but later in the week, I think Ozzy and Sharon are also going to be on it as well, watching from home, making comments. So that'll be fun. By the time I put this video out, it'll be done, but whatever. So watching that, I've been really enjoying that. Speaking of Ozzy Osbourne, I have been enjoying the new album, Ordinary Man. It's really, I don't like all of the songs on there, but I do really enjoy things like Scary Little Green Men. I enjoy, what's the first track off it again? I've been enjoying the album. It's quite good, and it's a nice distraction, a nice pleasant thing to happen. I was supposed to see Alice Cooper this month with Lita Ford, but that obviously didn't happen. It's been postponed. No dates yet. We'll see what happens with all of that. It'll happen when it happens, right? And just as long as everyone's safe and healthy and well, that's all that really matters in the end. Other than that, I've just been kind of trying to distract myself from some of the stuff that's going on. I don't want to stick my head in the sand. I want to know what's happening, but I also don't want to become so immersed in it. It's easy to just get like negative for me and get really scared about stuff. So I'm trying to avoid that. I'm worried about people I know that have businesses that have had to close, but also people with like illnesses and stuff. I don't want them to get sick. It's a very weird and scary time. Speaking of that, I did get some face masks. Somebody I've followed for a long time back in the blogging days in the early 2010s. Her name is Mary Bart. I'm going to put a link below to her business, Autumn Moon Enchantment. She's somebody who makes clothes. She's a wonderful seamstress. And she's been making masks at this time. So I ordered some from her. The kids have, my stepson has a Pokemon one. My stepdaughter has ones with cassette tapes on them that I got for her. For the hubby, got one with guitars on it. And then for me, I had to get the one with the bats and the full moon on it. Because, we should be wearing face masks. And if I got to wear a face mask, it'd be nice to like have a nice one. And then also too, it's supporting someone in the community that does amazing work. So I was very happy to purchase those from her. So that's my favorites for the month. Let me know what you think. If you disagree with me and you're like, no, Twilight is the best story ever, you can like put in the comments below and why you feel that way. But go listen to the podcast because it's so funny. Thank you, as always, to all of my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your love and support, especially right now. It's a crazy time. Especially to Nathan, Marie, and Jamie. Thank you for your support. I will be back next month with more favorites. Hopefully we'll be in a different situation. Who knows? Who knows? As long as we're all safe, that's what matters. So I love you all. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. And peace and love and rock and roll.